This is Zen.
And this is Kie.
And you're watching
Gospel Goodies TV.
Gospel Goodies.
Gospel Goodies.
This is Gospel Goodies.
I'm Aaliyah Faust, and joining me this hour are two new friends of the Goodie Gang I like to call Hope Spreaders, the creators of Life Verbs podcast, Zen and Kie. How are you guys today?
Hey, I'm awesome. Thank you for having me.
Doing excellent. So blessed to be here and so blessed to be a part of the Goodies Gang. I like that.
Hey.
Oh, yes. We got to get you guys a Goodie Gang sweatshirt. It's a movement. Well, for people listening who may not know, I did share it on my social media accounts on Gospel Goodies and Aaliyah Faust, but I was featured on Life Verbs podcast this month, and that was definitely an honor. Zen and Kie, I learned so much from you both. And I'm so excited for you guys to share your story with the Goodie Gang, Gospel Goodies listeners and viewers here today. So for those listening right now, you'll be able to go on YouTube to see Zen and Kie's beautiful faces and play back this interview. It'll be posted on YouTube at Gospel Goodies TV. So first things first, what is a life verb?
Yeah, so I'm so glad that you asked. A life verb is your personal life philosophy that you live by, that is obtained through your personal life's experiences. A life verb also means living in action. Think of it as the hook to the theme song of your life. It could be a quote, it could be a song, something that you live by that gets you through, that centers you, and that grounds you. Yeah.
That's awesome. So what made you guys get together and produce this? Like, what's your mission with the podcast?
Well, first I have to give the credit back to Zen. Zen is an awesome queen. I just had the pleasure of meeting Zen through my Libra page that I have on Instagram. And I put out quotes daily on that page. And it's ironic that we're actually talking about gospel goodies, right? Because it was a vision. Like I'm not big on going to church, but I am big on your own connection with him, right? And while I was asleep one night, he was telling me, you need to come out from behind the quotes. You need to put a face to these quotes, right? There's people that can be saved, that can be helped by just talking. And I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous. I was nervous. And the minute I did that, I probably lost about 4,000 to 5,000 followers immediately, like every day. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I went into a depression because it just started dropping. But then I went live. And as I started to talk, it was more so like a therapy to me. I was able to release some things that was, bothering me, just holding me down. And I know I'm gonna sound like I'm old, but I didn't know on Instagram that there was a primary and then there was a general side of messages. So Zen had been following the Libra page for some time, and she sent me a message on there because I said, listen, if anybody has any podcasts or anything, I would like to get on there and talk. So she sent me a message, but I didn't know that the message was there because I never checked the general side until one morning. I just woke up in the middle of the morning, it's like 5, 6 in the morning, and I said, what is general? And I looked, and it was over 100 messages.
Oh, wow.
So as I'm going through the messages, and I read all of them, really did. But Zen's message, number one, the one thing that stood out to me was her Instagram name, Life Verbs. I'm like, wow. And so I looked at it, and it was saying, hey, I got a podcast, and I would love to have you on there. And so then I reached out to her just in the nick of time because Zen was about to write me off because I didn't respond back to her, right? And it's been a match made in heaven since then, like a good friendship. We built a great bond. She's brought a lot of organization to my life, because she's a life coach, but then she's also like my executive assistant to all of my businesses and my personal life. So when you're doing good and you're asking for good to come to you, God will bring you these type of things without even knowing that he is. It's in a disguise. And so, you know, I give so much credit to her. She's awesome, phenomenal lady. So that's how I met Zen.
That's so amazing.
Yeah. And then from there, as that was happening, the Life Verbs podcast, the listeners, we call them the Life Verbs tribe, was 88% women, 14% men. Well, it was at 10%. Then it got to 14%. And the percentage of men were like, hey, we want you to speak more to us as well. So then I had a podcast with Kie. We had a session. Our session almost went 2 hours.
Right.
And then I invited him to be on the podcast. And ever since then, the audience percentage for men has went to 25%. So 74% women. So it just showed like he was the missing link to the podcast. He was also the missing link to my brand of Life Verbs, period. And I was the missing link to his. So it's just amazing. Like, you can't underestimate the creator, the source of it all. You just can't underestimate it, because you don't know the language that the creator speaks is different from the language that humanism speaks.
Absolutely.
Right? And you just never know how the creator is going to link you with someone. That's why you have to be open. That's why you have to have discernment.
Mm-hmm.
So that you know, okay, is this from the source or is this not?
Mm-hmm.
That is really awesome. I had no idea. I would have never guessed. You guys' chemistry is very strong. I would have thought you guys were like lifelong friends. So that's really interesting to hear.
Yeah, we've actually never met in person.
Yeah.
No way.
No.
Never.
No.
Wow. So you guys are just virtual like us right now.
That's it. She's in Atlanta and I'm in DC.
Wow.
And she came into my life at a point in time where I have a lot of different businesses going on, and I almost missed the podcast. And if someone knows Zen, if you get to know Zen, if you say 4:00, she's going to be ready at 3:50.
Facts.
Right. So I logged on to the podcast at like 1 minute before it was time. And so, it went great. But then after, she said, "Can I tell you something?" I'm like, "Sure." She's like, you're unorganized. And I was like, but the point of my life where I'm at now, I could take that,
mm-hmm.
right? I could take that and embrace that. I'm like, okay. She's like, you need an assistant. But when she was saying that, I'm like, I don't like that word, because then it's like you're downplaying, like I'm putting you beneath me, and that's not true. So that's when I was like, no, executive assistant, right? I wanted a title that means something, because that's how I am. I'm about substance. I don't want to downgrade anyone. And since she's became my executive assistant, my other business has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
So that's how it's been, man.
Yeah. And then you mentioned earlier you're actually a certified life coach. How do you tie that into the podcast?
So I'm a certified life coach in intentional living and purposeful living. And that's truly what Life Verbs is all about. We have guest stars like yourself. We also have experts, entrepreneurs who come on. They share their story. They share their experiences in their field to really hydrate our listeners' souls, fortify their spirit, intensify and also renew their mindset. And the intensify and renew your mindset actually came from Kie, because Kie's Life Verbs is Romans 12:2, talking about, renewing your mind. And I would love for him to go more into that as well. So we do it on all levels, mentally, spiritually, physically. I know me personally right now, I'm on my weight loss journey. So I wanted to make a platform where people could come and share their stories, where we could be transparent, because there is power in transparency. Being transparent, really, once you tell your story, it truly opens up doors and it frees you from that imprisonment.
Absolutely. And Kie, you were just talking about your entrepreneurship and things like that. And I heard they call you the Brushless Painter. Did I get that right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about that.
So, I've always had this saying where, when you see like the perfect picture, you're like, man, that picture is perfect. Like, but it's not really perfect because it's been painted. Right? So if you take away, you look deep into it, that means someone painted it and then someone gave it the title, like it's a perfect picture. And that's what some people look at when they look at these celebrities and like they have the perfect relationship or the perfect this, and it's not. It's what society has painted. Right? So it's not that. So when I say the brushless painter, when I do quotes and things like that, or if I'm saying something, I'm really want to give you a vision without even having to paint it. So that's where the brushless painters come from. My Romans 12:2, like depending on where you are in life, you can read the Bible, you can read the book of Job. That's one of my favorite stories, but you can read it now, or when I read it 5 years ago, I took a different meaning to it each time. But the verse that stood out to me for the longest was Romans 12:2. Be not conformed to this world, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Because without this, nothing else exists. And that's what a lot of people have to really understand. If you cannot control this, you're lost. This controls what you say, how you act, the people that you allow to be in your circle, the energy that you take on. This controls it. So you have to understand, like this is your computer, this is your brain that to everything. We all are our CEOs, right? Because we're the CEO of our own life. So that's where it comes from.
Awesome. You guys are both just spitting out all facts, all goodness right now. I love it. Deep. Getting deep. And then you merge this deepness together. It's really awesome. And you guys both, just in this short time, have talked so much about faith. And that's really important for what you do. So what part does like spirituality play in your community and conversations?
Spirituality, it's the core and it's the center of it all. You really have to ground yourself in spirituality. It took me, I went through a very tumultuous time in my life, and it took me 10 years to heal, to even begin the healing, to even activate the healing. And what happened was, in those 10 years, I actually stepped away from faith. And I had to think to myself, when I got brought to the very, very bottom and at my lowest point, I said, when was I last happy? And it was when I was rooted and grounded in spirituality. But what I had to do is I had to get away from the institutionalized, right, that I was used to of spirituality, and discover my own connection and have my own relationship with the creator and with the source in my own way. And one of the ways that I do that is I pump positivity and inspiration into me 24/7. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. I'm human. I'm the first to admit I make mistakes. We sin daily, right? But it's the continuous effort. And the more that you pour in good, the more that good is going to come out of you.
Absolutely. Zen and I, we talk about this all the time. We talk about, good energy, right? And whether, it doesn't matter what your zodiac sign is, when you wake up in the morning, there's people that are going to start pulling you here, pulling you there. They need to talk to you, whether it's kids, relationships, job, whatever it is, right? But you have to pour in more good than you're pouring out. Because if you pour out all your good, that means you're leaving an empty vessel for bad energy to come in, right? So that's why in the mornings, there's meditation. Like, yes, my phones are right near me in the morning, but the first thing I look at is I get on the Bible app. I gotta get this word in me. I have to. I feel, it's something that will come over me if I get up and do anything less. It's like, oh, for real? You're not gonna read? Okay. That's like the voice, And like Zen was saying, I've went off on the left path, but the things that I've gone through, my testimony, I'm sharing as an open book, and it's helping people. You know, so that's what people have to understand, that the things you've gone through is not for you, right? It's for you to give to someone else. So hopefully, if they've gone through it, they can relate to it, and now you can help them change. Or if someone is about to do the same thing you've already done, they don't do that. But if you hold it in, what are you doing? It's not serving a purpose.
And our community is beautiful. Many in our community have gone through, I mean, their stories are just phenomenal. Their stories are literally the implication of faith. A lot of hurt, a lot of pain, and in multiple various situations. And so we're all about bringing that realness back, bringing back that authentic conversation, talking about life and working through it together. Because just like Maya Angelou says, we are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. And it's just amazing to see they talk to each other, they DM each other, they support each other's businesses. So just to see, and we've had people even tell us, hey, you talked me off the ledge.
Yes.
You know, I was about to take my own life.
Yes.
And because I'm watching you and I'm watching Kie, you know, on these lives and listening to the podcast, this has helped me so much. And they encourage us, like they empower us. Kie, Zen, keep going. Don't stop. We need this. And more people need this. And that is truly what fuels us and keeps us going. That's what gives us the energy to do it. Anytime, because we're human, right? You're going to get discouraged. Let's be real, right? You're going to get discouraged. But once we do, the source sends that message. Here comes a DM. It either comes to Kie, me, or both. Honestly. And it's like, we see you. We hear you. Loud and clear.
Well, I'll wake up, right? And I'll see something that Zen has forwarded me. And it's like, wow, okay. You know, or after a long day, you know, after a long day, it's like you got your whole life going, and then it's like, okay, you know, you got to get on live at 8 o'clock. And it's been times I'm like, man, I'm just gonna cancel it. And that one of the times that I was gonna cancel it because I just didn't have the energy. I just wanted to do me. That's the time I got on, and the lady got on the live, and she said, it's because of you and Zen that I didn't take my life.
Wow.
Facts.
You know what's really wild is I was reading a devotional. I don't remember which one it was, but it literally gave me chills, because one of the bravest things you can do is to, like, for your prayer to be, God, use me, or for God, whatever it is you will. Like, do you know how prepared you have to be to, like, pray that? And, like, you guys are doing it. And it's really commendable. Like, kudos and shout outs to you guys, because it takes a lot to say, God, use me, because we don't know how he's going to use us. And we have to really be brave enough to go through the processes, whether that be ups or downs. And it seems like 7 times out of 10, it'd be down. So
And we want to blend the men and the women. You have so many women doing their own thing, empowering women. You have so many men doing their own thing, empowering men, or men who empower women, or women who, more so men who empower women, right? We want to merge that together. And I feel like what's so unique about us is we speak on our flaws. Like, we speak on humanism. We speak on who we are. We don't try to paint this pretty picture that we're perfect and we have it all together. Even me as a life coach, I say that I'm a relatable life coach. One of my favorite life coaches who actually inspired me to be a life coach is Michelle Chalfant. And when her podcast, she always opens up. She's a therapist, holistic life coach, and goes through all her certifications and licenses and degrees. But then she says, but I'm a human, just like you.
Yeah.
And I stick by that, and Kie does as well.
Absolutely.
Nice. And speaking of that, you guys are actually, well, you do a lot of great things together, but you guys are doing some awesome things individually as well. Can you guys talk to us about what it is you're working on individually too?
Yeah, sure. Well, right now I'm actually at my place of business. I just opened up a high-end car accessory shop where, you know, we wrap vehicles and you know, wheels. I mean, anything you can think of for a car. But you know, as in life as growth, you when you do these things, it's all about your brand, right? Like you were saying, you wanted to get us a hoodie, right? It's your brand. You can't just come up with something and there's no brand to it. So that's why every day I have my brand on. I have a mask brand. I have a hoodie. That's all I wear every single day. You know, so I do that. I'm into real estate. I've always been into real estate. I was introduced from my mother at a young age about real estate. So I'm into that. And then I'm in the multi-level marketing business. And that business has freaking tripled since I've got an organization through Zen. You know, so those are just some of the things I have on my plate daily. All besides being a great father. So.
Nice.
I'm a certified professional life coach, so I have my own life coaching practice where I have clients, and like I said, I speak on intentional living, purposeful living. So that's accountability, owning your power, healing from sexual trauma, because I have faced that in my life. So helping other women heal from sexual trauma, and I help men, and I also help women. I also do business coaching as well. Anything that pertains to living with intention and living with purpose. I also actually have, as a part of my plan, a self-care kit that I also send out, because so many people don't truly understand the art of self-care. They think everybody needs to do Pilates, everybody needs to meditate, everybody needs to. That's not for everybody. You really have to find what's specific for you. So there's a special way that I'm able to discover that for you, but helping people, because life coaches deal with the present and the future to get you from point A and point B. And I always tell my clients, I am helping you, coaching you to be the rescuer of yourself. I'm not here to give you the answers. I'm here to pull those answers out of you, because they're already in there, right? Sometimes you just need that confirmation. And I'm also, new announcement, so excited, the facilitator for the Atlanta chapter of Black Girls Can Heal with Jaquasia Vandross. This is huge. She's actually in the New York area. So in June, I'm starting support groups, virtual support groups to help women. It's about 15 people. So if anyone who's listening, you're interested, definitely pay attention to my page. Go Black Girls Can Heal. If you just type that in Instagram, you'll find it for more information and when you can start signing up from that. But it's for women who are 18 plus all the way to, you can be 90 years old. Okay. You're never too old to start your healing journey and to activate your healing. It could be sexual trauma. It could be healing from, childhood. Maybe you're adopted, any abandonment, anything. So yeah, so excited about that. This new chapter in my life with that as well.
Nice. And with all those things on the horizon, I know, Kie, your life verb was in Romans, but let's just go through it one more time. What are each of your life verbs?
So my life verb is Romans 12, verse 2. Be not conformed to this world, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And with that, when I say that verse, that means you're never at the when you become humble, right? There's no cap on humble, right? There's different levels as you want to grow. If you don't want to grow, then you just stay there. But if you want to continue to grow, then you have to be prepared to go to another level of being humble, right? Same thing as a teacher and a student. Zen can come into my lane as real estate and not know nothing. Right. So she's a student. Right. And I'm the teacher. Right. But then I can know everything about real estate, and then I can go into her lane of life coaching. Right. Or she knows the industry of makeup and things like that. And I know nothing. So then I have to be a student. Right. So you have to know when to become a student and sit back and take what's given to you and be a sponge and soak it up and be a student and learn, as opposed to thinking that you know everything.
Definitely.
So that's my life verb.
Definitely. My life verb is always, I have two. One is Benjamin Franklin actually said this, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Fact.
And I truly believe in that. You know, as long as you need to have an A, B, C, D, and E, okay, plan. And of course, the plan will be altered, but at least there's a structure and plan in place, right? Because I found for myself, when I have a structure and plan in place, I do better. And I am better, and I'm not having anxiety, right? Or so much frustration because I actually have something in place. I just may need to alter it and adjust it a little bit. And then also my motto that I always say on the podcast, always remember to keep your soul hydrated and your spirit fortified. And what that means is keeping your soul hydrated and your spirit fortified. Make sure that you're pouring into yourself, so that you can strengthen your resiliency, so you can have that resiliency, such as putting in positive things, putting in inspiration, putting things that speak to you daily, because we need that. We're human. I'm not positive every day. I can tell you, I'm not positive every day. I'm gonna be real about it, right? But when I have those moments, there are quotes that I look at. I have like about 20 different playlists for my different moods. I'm being honest, on my Spotify, because that's something else that kind of have in common. We love music. Like, that is truly therapy for each of us. And we'll text each other back and forth. Hey, check out this artist. Hey, check out this song. And I just pump up my music and I'll play it all day. I listen to music more than I watch TV.
Right.
You know, because I'm pouring that into me. I'm pouring in inspiration.
Awesome.
What are you guys' favorite song right now?
Yes.
I have a lot, but the one song that no matter what I'm doing, no matter what I'm going through, I got to go back to Mary J. Blige, My Life. So if you look at my life and tell me what I see, right? If you don't believe in me, then believe in him, right? So when I listen to that, I always have to push my sunroof back, right? Because when she says, you know, don't believe me, believe in him, and I always look up, and that's something I've learned. Like, no matter what, like when something good is going on, and out of nowhere something just happens, you got to give your glory. You got to be like, thank you, Father. You know? So sometimes some people see me and that's just me saying, man, thank you. You know, because that's just one way of showing gratitude. Like, he wants the glory. Like, you be stingy if you want, and he's going to show you.
Facts.
Yeah.
You know, so that's my favorite song.
Nice.
Mine is Hit the Refresh. Okay, for Voices of Fire. That is my thing.
With that energy, man.
I love that. I literally on and on. Like, my boyfriend is like, good, you listen to that song yet? Yes, I love that song. Like, that's my favorite song right now. And also, just a fun fact about me, I listen to gospel, neo soul. This is like, I have different things in my plethora, but gospel, neo soul, and I love dubstep. I love electro music as well. And another song I listen to a lot is by Alicia Cara. It's called 7 Days. And it's basically saying, you know, it's talking about God. And it's basically saying, hey, you know, does he hang his head with all the greed that we possess? You know, was it worth the 7 days? You know, oh, Mr. Man upstairs, you know, answer my question. You know, like, when you look and you see all that you created and you see all the craziness that's going on, was it worth the 7 days? That's a real question.
Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah, that's a real question. So yeah.
Can I say one more thing? I'm sorry.
Yep. I was about to say, I'm going to have to go listen to that song now too.
Yes.
When Zen said the gospel, I had to give you my gospel, my favorite one. And Norman Hutchinson, God's got a blessing for you. When that thing comes on, like, it's like, I don't care what you're going through, right? Things gonna be all right. Like, that song right there, got me through some things, I'm telling you. So yeah, we just some dope individuals, man. We just vibe. That's what you're gonna get from us, man. So that's why our connection is so good, because we just there's like if you ever have a friendship with someone where it's just a friendship, there's no talking outside of the friendship. I respect her situation. Her man knows me. You know, I speak. Hey, is this okay? Can you talk? You know, there's boundaries, right? And so when you put that in place, man, the friendship just a dope friendship.
It's possible, y'all. It's 100% possible.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I love to hear it. And in the spirit of gospel goodies, I want to leave you with this good song. Our God is Good by Brian Courtney Wilson, since we're talking about songs we like. But I thank you so much, Zen and Kie, for this conversation. And before we go, can you let the people listening or watching know how to follow you guys and keep up with everything you guys have going on?
Sure. I'm on Libra Quotes _4_real. So Libra Quotes for real, and then my personal page is just KIE_929.
You can find me on Instagram at @ Life Verbs with an S podcast. You can also go to my website, www.lifeverbspodcast.com. And you can also go to our YouTube page, Life Verbs Podcast. Make sure you put in Life Verbs Podcast. Don't just put in Life Verbs. It'll come right up. Oh, and we also go live Mondays and Fridays at 8 p.m. And on Thursday nights, I have Lessons with Life Verbs, which is a group session. All these are live on Instagram at 8 p.m. So Monday, Thursday, Friday, 8 p.m. Yeah, we on that social media, y'all.
Absolutely.